Знаешь, когда я говорила о поездке на море, я имела в виду нечто другое.
Восточно-Сибирское море – самое холодное море в мире. Расширяйте кругозор с новым познавательным пакетом «Открытие». 10 каналов обо всем на свете всего за 199 рублей в месяц.
The Zabaikalsky region, deep in the Siberian Far East, is one of Russia's newest territories. Formed in 2008, it brought together the Chitar and the Agin-Buryat regions, and with it, a striking mix of Asian and European culture. Travelling around, you can find Buddhist temples, sprawling national parks, and remote villages that still practice traditions that date back 1,000 years. But if you're flying here, you'll be landing in the region's vibrant capital, Chitar. Whenever you're in a new place, of course, the best way to get to know it is to have a local show you around. And I know one lady here who's promised to show me a bit of what Chitar life is like in the fast lane. Ah, Stasia. Hello. Chitar is home to just over 300,000 people, and it's a real mismatch of styles. It's one of the only cities in Russia that's based on a grid system, and the downtown area has some beautiful European-influenced architecture. But the further you ride, the more Soviet and industrial it becomes. If you don't mind the odd bug in your teeth, this is a great way to see the city. But Stanislava and her friends aren't the only bikers in Chitar, although these guys prefer to ride off the roads.
That's where our motorcycle team is based. We call the Zabaikalsky Motorsport Federation. The team is made up of more than 30 men, and the training path is just over here.
Most of the team were away at a competition, but there were still plenty of people out for a quiet day of risking life and limb.
Whoa! What's a few broken bones here and there when you're having fun, eh?
And if a 7-year-old can make it round the track in one piece, can't be that hard, right? Well, once I'd figured out how to stop the thing from stalling, at least.
Right, take that, society. I'm making my own rules now. Oh, God, never again.
Okay, so I might not be a natural rebel without a cause, but there are some people in Chitar who do live rather unconventional lives.
Probably fair to say that recycling projects around Russia are still in their infancy, but I know one man around here who knows exactly what to do with those party leftovers.
Здравствуйте, здравствуйте.
Hello.
Я принесу подарки.
Thanks, mate. I'm Arkady.
James, очень приятно.
Arkady Olszewski has developed a whole new take on hitting the bottle. He's a retired engineer who just can't stop building. And why bother with expensive bricks when there are plenty of alternatives just lying around?
So many bottles have piled up over the years. Mineral water, beer and the like. I had difficulty getting rid of them, so I thought I might as well use them for a good purpose. So the first thing I made was a bathroom, a nice and warm place. And as time went by, other projects cropped up.
Like this bottle tower, for instance. From the inside, it may be Arkady's version of the Lenin Mausoleum.
Communist bottle shrine.
But up top, it's a place for the kids to play and help with the gardening too.
Here's my swimming pool. It has a double purpose. First, children swim in the water, and then it's used for watering plants. And then we'll fill the swimming pool up again.
So a great little swimming pool and a way to water your vegetables. Perfect.
Arkady's projects have made him a bit of a local celebrity, and he's always had plenty of fans to bring him supplies.
Luxury. Luxury village loos. And you can keep up with the news. Perfect.
Look, come here. It took 78 people to collect these bottles.
There's even a plaque in the toilet with everyone who's brought bottles.
Each building normally takes years to complete, but Arkady isn't slowing down his property empire. His next one is an all-bottle chapel, and he's always looking for willing volunteers.
You want to try?
And with a few quick tips from the master, I was well on my way to an architectural triumph. But all this hard work in the hot sun makes a man thirsty. Lucky I'd come prepared. Sadly, I don't have 5 years to stay and help Arkady finish his project, but I can at least help contribute to the building materials. You got to love work where drinking on the job is encouraged, haven't you? Cheers. Спасибо большое.
My pleasure.
But just the one, of course, because my next stop was going to take some serious concentration if I didn't want to end up with a black eye or two. From bottle artists to martial artists. This is Chitar's 10C Karate Club, the biggest and most successful in the city. It's run by Alexander, one of Russia's most accomplished karate masters, and he's ably assisted by his son Yevgeny. He's only a first dan black belt, so of course I was in for an easy ride. Why do I think this is just going to end up being a very painful day, somehow? It's been quite a while since I've thrown a roundhouse kick in anger, and Yevgeny made sure I got an intensive refresher course. But you've got to dust yourself off quickly in here, or you're liable to get cracked over the head. Alexander's been teaching here since 1994, and estimates he's trained over 5,000 students. That's more than 1% of the city's population. This is a man who says he once took on 8 attackers with his eyes blindfolded. So, when he offered me a little one-on-one swordplay instruction, I wasn't about to say no. I seem to have passed my initiation, and here, that means you get your own deadly weapon to take home as a souvenir. So there really now is no excuse for me not to become a lean, mean fighting machine. But for the time being, I was just knackered, and I wanted to find somewhere in the city to relax and recuperate, Oriental style. Chitar is only a few hundred kilometres from the Chinese border, and there's a thriving Chinese community here, and along with their culture, they've also brought their remedies. There are almost no Russians working in this Chinese medicine centre, and there are a whole range of different treatments on offer. Alexander told me that their cupping therapy was particularly effective, and who was I to doubt the word of a Grand Master? Apparently, this is supposed to be great for your circulation and your joints. It also happens to be one of the most agonising things I've ever experienced. That's an unusual feeling. And once the massage/torture is over, then you just relax and hope that the jars do their thing. It does get better the longer you lie there, but I was still counting down the 15 minutes I had to wait. I felt like a hedgehog. Slightly better than the first procedure, but definitely extremely good. I'm thinking positive thoughts. Who would have thought such a small person was capable of inflicting so much pain? And I was only halfway through the treatment. Right, well, I'm hoping that this second procedure is going to be a little bit more gentle and refreshing than the first, because now my back rather feels like it's had an encounter with a tiger. Understandably, I was a little nervous as I climbed onto my next plinth, but my instructor Andre soon had me completely relaxed. I'm ready for some relief. At least until I noticed him getting out a lighter. Right, that was a very ominous sound on my back there. Of course, I would never doubt Chinese wisdom, but God, this is all under control. They may have been using me as a human flambe, but it's also supposed to be great for the circulation. And compared to those vile vials, this is a walk in the park. Well, I'm not sure about having my skin sucked up into little glass vials, but I tell you what, being set on fire here is really quite nice. And I guess those two things combined, if they can't sort out my chi, nothing will. Okay, Andre, bye-bye. With my body tuned up by centuries of Chinese wisdom, it was time to seek out some spiritual healing too, and that meant getting out of the city. And not far from the capital is one of the area's most beautiful nature spots. So this is the Al Hanai National Park. It's the biggest national park in the whole region, and it's centered around a series of sacred Buddhist monuments. Unfortunately, most of them are high up on the hills, which means if I'm going to see them, I've got a bit of a trek ahead of me. And of course I picked one of the hottest days of the year to do it. At least there's plenty of refreshment available. The tracks are said to have been here for millennia, and each visitor is supposed to do their bit to keep them clear. These piles of stones that you can see here are made by the pilgrims taking the trek up into the hills. It's traditional to remove obstacles from your path, so that obviously helps you, but also the others who are coming to follow in your footsteps. And of course, it never hurts to have a bit of good karma. It can be easy to get lost here if you don't know where you're going. But I was lucky enough to have my guide by ear waiting for me at one of the park's most spectacular points. Bayer is a Buddhist who's been showing people around here for more than 10 years, and he knows all of Al Hanai's most sacred places.
This is a holy place. Its name means goddess. And one of the goddesses is right here in the rock. She can answer many questions. Anyone can profit from her knowledge. Just touch the rock with your hands and forehead.
So by touching my forehead to this rock, hopefully it's supposed to impart some wisdom to me. If it's got all the answers there, I might have to stay here for a while. But there are plenty of opportunities to draw on the god's knowledge here. Dozens of pilgrims journey here almost every day to make offerings or seek guidance in the park's various shrines, and most of them are headed for one particular destination. It's been a long, hot trek, but it's finally almost at the end, because just behind me is the holiest site for the Buddhists in the whole of this park. It's called the Gates Cathedral, and people believe that it actually marks the entrance to paradise. So all that's left for me to do is take a climb up the stairway to heaven. Cool, I hope there's a cold drink or two waiting for me at the end of it. Whether you're lucky enough to have the spirits speak to you or not, there's definitely a special energy about Al Hanai. The incredible views and natural monoliths make this a memorable trip, and I was looking forward to seeing more of the region's Buddhist treasures.